I covered $8,600 for my parents' vow renewal. But 3 days later my sister texted, "We're trying to keep it drama-free. Maybe sit this one out." I didn't reply. I logged into the vendor portals instead. Cancel. Refund. Release. The morning of the event the planner called my dad. Then my dad called me 64 times. I paid for my parents' entire vow renewal ceremony. Every flower. Every chair. Every champagne toast. $8,600 of my own money because I wanted to give them something beautiful after 30 years of marriage. And 3 days before the event, my sister sent me a text that made my hands shake so badly I had to put my phone down on the counter. "Hey, so we've been talking as a family and we think it might be better if you sat this one out. We're trying to keep things drama-free and you know how you can be. Hope you understand." I stared at that message for a full minute. You know how you can be. My name is Rebecca, I'm 29 years old and apparently, I'm the family problem even though I just handed over nearly $9,000 to celebrate my parents' love. Let me back up for a second because this didn't come out of nowhere even though it felt like a slap across the face. My sister Brittany has always been the golden child. She's 32, married to some finance guy named Derek, and she has this way of making every family gathering about her somehow. When Mom mentioned wanting to renew their vows for their anniversary, Brittany immediately jumped in with all these grand ideas but conveniently had budget constraints. When it came time to actually pay for anything, I was the one who met with the wedding planner. I was the one who tasted 17 different cake samples until I found the lemon lavender one Mom had mentioned loving years ago. I picked out the string quartet. I arranged the whole thing at this gorgeous vineyard 2 hours outside the city because Dad proposed to Mom at a winery and I thought it would be romantic. And now I was being uninvited. I called my grandmother, my mom's mom Linda, who's always been the only person in my family who actually listens to me. She's 83 and sharper than most people half her age. "Grandma, did you know about this?" I asked, my voice cracking. There was a long pause. "About what, honey?" "Brittany uninvited me to the vow renewal. The one I paid for." "She did what?" Grandma's voice went ice cold. "Rebecca, that girl has lost her mind. Your mother doesn't know about this, does she?" "I don't know." The text said, "We've been talking as a family, so I assume everyone's in on it." Do you think I should have called my parents right then? Part of me wanted to, but another part of me was so humiliated I couldn't bear to hear them agree with Brittany. Grandma told me not to do anything rash, but I wasn't feeling particularly rational. I spent that entire evening pacing my apartment, rereading Brittany's text, trying to figure out what I'd done to deserve this. The only thing I could think of was Thanksgiving. At Thanksgiving, Brittany had made some comment about how I was too sensitive, because I'd asked her not to bring up my recent breakup with my ex-boyfriend Colin in front of the whole family. She'd laughed it off and brought it up anyway, making jokes about how I couldn't keep a man. I'd left early and apparently that made me the dramatic one. You know how you can be. I texted Brittany back. Just one line, "I paid for everything." Her response came 5 minutes later, "And we appreciate that. But this day is about Mom and Dad, not you. We just think it's better this way." Not about me. The person who'd spent 2 months planning every detail and emptied a significant chunk of my savings account wasn't allowed to attend because I might cause drama. I didn't sleep that night. I kept thinking about my parents getting ready for their special day, expecting everything to be perfect, having no idea that their daughter, the one who'd made it all possible, had been cut out like I meant nothing. But here's what kept running through my mind as the sun came up. I had access to everything. Every vendor portal. Every confirmation email. The wedding planner, Simone, had CC'd me on everything because I was the point of contact. I was the one who'd signed the contracts. My credit card was on file. Imagine what you would do in my position. Would you just accept being pushed aside? By 7 a.m. I'd made my decision. I opened my laptop, pulled up my email and started typing. One by one I logged into every vendor portal. The florist. The caterer. The string quartet. The vineyard venue. The cake designer. The photographer. And I canceled everything. Not just cancelled, I requested full refunds where possible and released the vendors from their contracts. Every single one. I was methodical about it, almost calm. The vineyard was the hardest because I'd actually loved that place, but I released the date. Refund requested. The baker responded within an hour. "So sorry to see you cancel. Refunding the $600 deposit now." The florist took a bit longer but confirmed. $1,200 credited back to your card within 5 to 7 business days. I watched my inbox fill up with cancellation confirmations like I was in a trance. Each one felt like pulling off a band-aid that had been stuck to me for years. Was I being petty? Maybe. Did I care anymore? Not really. What do you think? Was I wrong to do this? By noon I dismantled the entire event. $8,600 worth of planning, gone. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't send a dramatic text or make a phone call. I just quietly erased the celebration my family had decided I wasn't good enough to attend. Then I turned off my phone and went to the gym. I needed to move, to do something physical before the reality of what I'd just done caught up with me. I ran on the treadmill for an hour, my mind completely blank except for the rhythm of my feet hitting the belt. When I finally turned my phone back on that evening, I had 47 missed calls. 47. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me tell you about what happened the morning of the event, because that's when everything truly fell apart. For them, at least. That's when the wedding planner finally realized all her vendors had canceled. That's when she called my father in a panic. And that's when my dad called me 64 times in a row. My phone didn't stop buzzing for 3 hours straight. 64 calls from Dad. 32 from Mom. 19 from Brittany. Even Derek, Brittany's husband, who'd maybe spoken 10 words to me in the 5 years they'd been married, called me twice. I was sitting in my apartment with a glass of wine, watching my phone light up over and over again like a Christmas tree, and I felt nothing. Maybe that makes me cold. Maybe that makes me exactly what Brittany had accused me of being. But after that text telling me I wasn't welcome at an event I'd paid for, I'd run completely out of sympathy. The voicemails started rolling in around 9 a.m. I listened to the first one from Dad. "Rebecca, honey, please pick up. There's been some kind of mistake with the vendors. Simone says everything's been canceled and she can't reach anyone, and just please call me back. This is your mother's special day and I don't understand what's happening. Your mother's special day. Not our family's special day. Not the day you worked so hard to plan. Just Mom's day. The day I apparently wasn't good enough to attend." The next voicemail was Mom, and her voice was shaking. "Becca, sweetheart, I don't know what's going on. Did something happen with your credit card? Simone says all the vendors canceled yesterday. The vineyard doesn't have us on the schedule anymore. Please, baby, call me. We can fix this." Do you think I should have answered? Part of me wanted to, just to hear them panic a little more. But I wasn't ready yet. Brittany's voicemail was different. "Rebecca, what the hell did you do? Mom is crying. Dad is losing his mind. If you canceled everything because of what I said, you're being incredibly immature. This isn't about you. Call me back right now." I actually laughed at that one. Not about me. Right. Grandma Linda called around 10. I answered that one. "Rebecca Marie, your father just called me in hysterics. Did you cancel the vow renewal?" "I did," I said calmly. There was a pause. "Good. I was hoping you had some spine left in you." I nearly dropped my phone. "Wait, what? You heard me. I've been watching Brittany push you around for years, and your parents just let it happen. You paid for everything and they uninvited you? Oh, absolutely not. Let them scramble. Grandma, Mom's crying. Your mother should have asked why you were uninvited before she went along with it. Did she call you when Brittany suggested it? Did she stand up for you? She hadn't." That silence was deafening. "But," Grandma continued, and I could hear the smile in her voice, "I think it's time you answered one of these calls. Let them know exactly why this happened." I took a deep breath and called my dad back. He answered on the first ring. "Rebecca, oh thank God. Honey, what happened? Simone says you canceled everything yesterday. Was there a problem with?" "I got uninvited, Dad." Silence. "What?" "Brittany texted me 3 days ago and told me not to come. Said the family wanted to keep things drama-free, and I should sit this one out. So I did. I sat out the planning too. And the paying." "Wait, Brittany did what?" His voice had changed completely. "She uninvited you? She said you all talked about it as a family. That everyone agreed I was too dramatic or sensitive or whatever, and it would be better if I wasn't there." "Rebecca, I have no idea what you're talking about. Your mother and I never said anything like that. Why would we? You planned this whole thing." And that's when something unexpected happened. I heard a crash in the background, and then my mother's voice, crystal clear and absolutely furious. "Brittany and fucking Morrison, get down here right now." I'd never, and I mean never, heard my mother use that tone or language in my entire life. Mom was the sweet one, the peacekeeper, the woman who said, "Oh my," instead of actual curse words. There was shouting in the background. I could hear Brittany saying something defensive, and then Derek's voice trying to calm everyone down, and then my dad's voice booming. "You told your sister what?" "I'm putting you on speaker," Dad said to me, his voice shaking. "Brittany, tell Rebecca what you just told us." Brittany's voice came through, tight and defensive. "I was trying to protect the day. Rebecca always makes everything about her, and I thought." "You thought you'd uninvite the person who paid for everything?" Mom's voice cracked. "You told me Rebecca had a work emergency and couldn't make it. You said she'd already approved the cancellation." "Wait, what? Brittany told you I had a work emergency?" I asked. "Yes." Mom was crying now. She showed me a text she said was from you, saying you had to fly to Chicago for some crisis and you'd already contacted the vendors to push everything back a week. We were upset but we understood. Mom, I never sent that text. I never said any of that. Brittany told me not to come because I was too dramatic. The shouting got louder. I heard something else break, maybe a vase. And Derek saying, okay, everyone needs to calm down. Then Brittany, desperate now, I was going to tell you. I just needed one day where Rebecca wasn't the center of attention. She always has to be the hero, always has to be the one everyone thanks, and I'm sick of. Get out. My dad's voice was ice. Brittany, get out of my house. Dad, you can't be serious. Out. No. And take your husband with you. There was more shouting, a door slamming, and then just the sound of my mother sobbing. Imagine finding out your own sister sabotaged you like that. Not just to you but to your entire family. She'd lied to everyone. Rebecca, honey, Dad's voice was gentle now. I am so sorry. We had no idea. Is there any way to fix this? Can we reschedule? I'll pay you back every penny, I swear. The vendors are cancelled, Dad. Most of them already had the dates filled. The vineyard rebooked for a corporate event. The string quartet took another wedding. It's gone. Mom got on the phone. Baby, I don't care about the party. I care about you. Why didn't you call us when Brittany said that to you? And that's when I broke. Because I thought you agreed with her. The text said the family decided. I thought you all wanted me gone. Never, Mom whispered. Never, sweetheart. You're our daughter. Brittany, I don't even know who that person is anymore. We talked for another 20 minutes. Mom and Dad were devastated, not about the party but about what Brittany had done. Dad kept apologizing, saying he should have checked in with me, should have known something was wrong. But here's the thing that happened next, the part one didn't expect. My phone buzzed with a call from a number I didn't recognize. I almost didn't answer but something made me pick up. Is this Rebecca Chin? A woman's voice, professional. Yes. This is Simone Reeves, the wedding planner. I've been trying to reach you. I know everything was cancelled yesterday, but I just received a very interesting phone call from a Linda Chin who says she's your grandmother. My heart stopped. Yes, that's my grandma. What did she? She's offered to cover the entire cost of rebooking everything for next weekend. She said, and I quote, my granddaughter shouldn't have to pay for her sister's nonsense, but this family is going to celebrate properly if I have to drag them all there myself. I started crying. Actually crying. She's already secured the vineyard. Apparently she knows the owner from some charity board. And most of the vendors can make next Saturday work. She's asking if you'll help her coordinate everything. She was very specific that you need to be involved in every decision. Do you think I deserve that kind of support? Because I sat there in my apartment, absolutely sobbing, thinking about my 83-year-old grandmother strong-arming vendors and throwing money around just to prove a point to my sister. I'll help, I managed to say. Tell her yes. I'll help with everything. What I didn't know yet was that Grandma Linda had one more surprise planned. Something that would happen at the actual ceremony that would change everything between me and Brittany forever. But that comes later. First, I had to survive the week of my parents trying to reconcile with Brittany while also planning a second vow renewal, and let me tell you, the family group chat became an absolute war zone. The week between the cancelled ceremony and the rescheduled one was absolute chaos. Grandma Linda moved like a woman on a mission. She didn't just pay for everything, she upgraded it. Better flowers. Better champagne. She even hired a photographer who'd shot weddings for some minor celebrities. If we're doing this, she told me over the phone, we're doing it right. And Rebecca, you're going to stand right next to your parents during the ceremony. Front and center. But the family group chat became a war zone. Dad had created a new group without Brittany and Mom's first message was, we need to talk about Brittany. My Uncle James responded, what did she do now? That opened the floodgates. My cousin Meredith wrote about how Brittany had told her not to bring her girlfriend Kai to Christmas, saying it would make things awkward. When Meredith showed up alone, Brittany told everyone Meredith was single and going through a hard time. They'd almost broken up over it. Then my Aunt Paula chimed in. She told me Rebecca was mad at me for not calling enough. I've been feeling guilty for months. I'd never said that. I loved Aunt Paula. The messages kept coming. Brittany had been playing family members against each other for years, telling little lies, creating drama and positioning herself as the peacekeeper. Do you think someone just wakes up one day and decides to be that manipulative? 3 days before the new ceremony, Brittany started calling me. I ignored the first 5 calls. Then the text started. Rebecca, please. I know I messed up. Everyone hates me now. Even Derek is barely speaking to me. Please, I'm your sister. That last one made me stare at the wall. He was my sister. Despite everything, some part of me remembered the Brittany who taught me to ride a bike when I was 6. The Brittany who punched Tommy Rodriguez in middle school for making fun of my braces. When did she become this person? I finally called her back the night before the ceremony. Grandma Linda was at my apartment helping me steam my dress, and she raised an eyebrow when she saw Brittany's name on my screen. Rebecca, Brittany answered immediately. Her voice was hoarse. Thank you for calling back. What do you want, Brittany? I want to apologize. Really apologize. I've been horrible to you, to everyone. I don't even know why I did half of it. I waited. Grandma was watching me. I think I was jealous, Brittany's voice cracked. You're so effortlessly good at everything. People love you without you even trying. Mom and Dad light up when you walk in the room, and I've always felt like I had to perform to get that same reaction. So I started controlling situations so I could be the important one. By lying to everyone? I know how awful that sounds. Derek says I need therapy, and he's right. Rebecca, I'm not asking you to forgive me right now. I just need you to know that I see what I did. Imagine your sister, the person who tormented you for years, suddenly becoming self-aware. Do you believe her? Are you coming tomorrow? I asked. I wasn't invited. I'm inviting you. Grandma's head snapped up. She mouthed, What are you doing? Rebecca, you don't have to. I'm inviting you. But Brittany, if you do one thing, to mess with this day, we're done. Forever. Do you understand? Yes. I promise I'll just sit in the back. I won't cause any problems. After I hung up, Grandma looked at me like I'd grown a second head. Honey, are you sure? No, I admitted. But she's still my sister. Maybe she needs to see what happens when people actually celebrate each other. Grandma studied me, then smiled. You're a better person than I am. But I'm still making her sit in the back row. The morning of the ceremony was perfect. Sunny, 72 degrees, a light breeze. I got there early to help Simone with setup, and when Mom and Dad arrived, Mom just held me. Thank you, she whispered. For all of this. Dad slipped an envelope into my hand. We're paying you back. Every penny plus interest. Your grandmother refused to let us contribute to the new ceremony, but we're not letting you walk away from this in the hole. Guests started arriving around too. Uncle James and Aunt Paula hugged me and apologized again. Cousin Meredith introduced me to Kai properly, and Kai squeezed my hand. Thank you for exposing Brittany. And then Brittany arrived. She looked exhausted. Her dress was conservative, nothing attention-grabbing. Derek was with her, and he gave me an apologetic nod. Brittany walked up to me with red eyes. Thank you for letting me come. Back row, I said quietly. And Brittany? Just watch. Watch what it looks like when people support each other. She nodded and headed to the back with Derek. The ceremony was beautiful. Mom cried through her vows. Dad's voice shook when he talked about 30 years of love. When my parents kissed, everyone cheered. But then during the reception, Grandma stood up to give a toast. I thought it would be about Mom and Dad. Instead, Grandma looked directly at me. I want to talk about my granddaughter Rebecca, she said, and my heart stopped. Rebecca planned this entire celebration, twice, because she loves her parents. But more than that, she showed our family what real love looks like. Not controlling love. Not manipulative love. But generous, selfless, unconditional love. She paused, tears in her eyes. Rebecca could have walked away after what happened. She could have let this family tear itself apart. Instead, she made space for forgiveness. She made space for her sister to learn and grow. And that is the same kind of love we're celebrating today. Everyone turned to look at me. Mom was crying. Dad was beaming. Uncle James started the applause. But I looked at Brittany. She was sobbing in the back row, Derek's arm around her. Our eyes met and she mouthed, I'm sorry. And I believed her. After the reception, Brittany found me by the vineyard's garden. We stood in silence watching the sunset. I meant what I said, she finally spoke. I'm starting therapy next week. Derek gave me an ultimatum, get help or he's done. That's good, I said carefully. I want a better relationship with my sister. He turned to me. I know that's going to take time, maybe years. But Rebecca, I want to try. Do you think people can really change? Then try, I said simply. Show me, don't just tell me. She nodded. I will. We hugged, awkwardly at first, then tighter. It wasn't forgiveness yet. But it was a start. 3 months have passed since the vow renewal. Brittany's been in therapy every week and she's doing the work. She apologized to Meredith and Kai in person. She admitted every lie to Mom and Dad. She's rebuilding trust slowly. Last week she texted, therapy homework. I have to write about a time I sabotaged someone I loved. I'm writing about you. My therapist says I can't send it to you, but I wanted you to know I'm facing it. We have coffee every other Sunday now. Sometimes it's comfortable. Sometimes it's painful. But we're trying. Grandma Linda took me to lunch last month and said, "You taught this family something important, Rebecca. You taught us that love means boundaries. That you can forgive someone and still protect yourself. I'm proud of you. And honestly, I'm proud of me too. So what do you think? Did I handle everything the right way? Was I too harsh when I canceled everything, or did Brittany need that wake-up call?" If you enjoyed this story, please hit that like button. And if there's something you didn't like or if you would have handled things differently, I genuinely love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Thank you so much for listening to my story. Sometimes families are messy and complicated, but they're worth fighting for, even when that fight means standing up for yourself first. Thanks for watching.